Using sophisticated tools to scrutinize inks and papers, forensic document analysts can determine if suspicious notes have been altered or forged outright. Analyst William Flynn works with police on many criminal investigations involving documents.
As a forensic scientist in a modern forensic laboratory, I was working cases that involved check fraud, bank robbery notes, all types of documents. What you try to show forensically is a pattern difference. You're trying to show that there's a pattern in the genuine documents and then see if the question documents fit inside or outside that pattern.
Salt Lake City is rocked by 3 package bombings in 1985, and police suspect document dealer Mark Hoffman is responsible for the attacks. Documents he sells have been linked to the victims, and investigators think his papers may be forged. Flynn is enlisted to determine if the antique letters are real or forgeries.
My initial impression was that the documents look real. We had carbon dating done on the paper fibers, all of which showed that the documents really were as old as they appeared to be. It was my belief that it would be nearly impossible for someone to replicate inks, papers, and handwriting in such a way that they could not be forensically detected.
To be sure, Flynn ventures inside the forger's mind and attempts to replicate his techniques. First inquiry, the antique paper.
Hoffman would not have been able to artificially age paper. He would simply check out a book that had been printed, let's say in 1835. All of the old books have what's called a flyleaf, a blank piece of paper used to cover the title page in the book. Hoffman would take a razor blade, cut the flyleaf out, and then use that paper to produce his document.
Next mystery, how could a forger write letters with century-old ink?
The properties of the ink were very similar to inks that were actually used in that time period. When we looked at these documents in ultraviolet, we were able to see dark streaks on a fluorescent paper. It was really the first clue that Hoffman had used a liquid to artificially age the inks. Hoffman had been smart enough to acquire old texts that talked about how to produce your own old inks and followed those formulas very carefully.
Flynn mixes up his own batch of period-accurate iron galotanic ink and deciphers Hoffman's method for speeding up the aging process.
If you've ever seen old documents from that time period, it's very common for those inks to turn sort of a rust brown. It's because they are rust. The iron portion oxidizes, turns into rust. He was spraying the document with the sodium hydroxide, causing the artificial aging. The ink immediately goes from black to that rust red color.
The forger's final trick is his uncanny ability to mimic handwriting. And of course, he uses only authentic writing instruments.
You take a penknife and you cut about halfway down through the shaft. People have probably heard the term penknife all their lives and never realized that they actually serve the purpose of being a pen knife.
From the investigation, Flynn takes away several new forging techniques to watch out for, all developed by an unusually inventive criminal. With his secret techniques revealed, Hoffman is exposed as a sham. He's convicted of the murders and of fraud.
I think most people that have seen the documents believe that Mark Hoffman is probably the finest forger of the 20th century.